Why not just protest at the office? Do you have to bring it to somebody's front door? Yeah, actually, if you're with SEIU, that's the way things are done now. Watch.
We took names. We watched how they voted. We know where they live.
Intimidation. They can't get you one way, they'll get you another. I'm sure some people at SEIU know exactly what I want to say now, but I won't. After the mob finally packed it in and left, they moved on to another CEO's house, and then another one. You see, SEIU was out on their intimidation tour, and they were completely unapologetic, accusing a reporter who questioned the tactic of getting too emotional on the story. Oh, well, you wouldn't want to get emotional with a 12 and 14-year-old that's frightened out of their mind. No, let's... It's a good thing that there weren't very many reporters there to ask. In fact, I only found two. One was for the Huffington Post and wrote a glorious review of this. And the other one, who was brave enough to say something, was it a Forbes reporter or a Fortune reporter? That's it, Fortune magazine, that's it. Nope, nobody around there to ask any questions. No one asked a question if it's morally reprehensible to do this, or ethically even thinkable. No one to ask the question if anyone was in the house. No one to ask the question about how the family feels today. How are you guys sleeping? How are the kids? How was your son's baseball game? It's forever lost now, isn't it? Your kid's never going to remember that game. The family's never going to remember that game. They'll remember that game. But they'll only remember it this way. Oh yeah, that was the day. That was the day everybody surrounded our house. No one's asking any questions. Why would you surround the house of a lifelong Democrat, a Clinton official? Did he do something? Or is it just that he works for the bank? No reporter is out questioning SEIU, owing a ton of money to Bank of America. Is this an intimidation tactic to try to get them to forgive your loans because you're collapsing on the inside? You need everybody to bail you out? Is that possible? Is this the same tactic that SEIU and Acorn used on the banks that forced them to make the risky loans that got us into this situation? Is it have anything to do with unionizing the tellers at the bank, which you're all trying to do? Well, there's a million questions, but no reporters. No reporters. Nope, they're working on a movie script. Wag the dog. They're not working on news or news stories anymore. See, to get a news story, you have to ask real questions. You have to actually care. You have to care about the truth. You have to be brave enough to say it. You have to just show up. That's a good start. I wonder what we're turning into. Last night I went to a show here in New York, and it was, I didn't realize this, I showed up in a t-shirt and a pair of jeans with my family, and it was a big gala opening. My wife wasn't real happy with me, not knowing those details. It was an opening of a Cirque du Soleil show, and we were sitting amongst all these celebrities, which I also, if I would have known, I wouldn't have gone, because it's never good with me. But James Gandolfini was sitting right behind me. Right behind me. I'm a fan of James Gandolfini. I like him. I had my 4-year-old daughter and my 5-year-old. My 5-year-old was sitting on my lap. And afterwards, after an intermission, I stood up with my son. He said, "Dad, I got to go potty." And so I stood up and I was holding him in my arms. And I turned around and I see Jim and I said, "Hey, Jim, we have a mutual friend." And I told him and shook his hand, and he said, "What is Satan doing here?" I had my 5-year-old in my arms. I didn't shoot back, why are you glorifying killing mobsters, whoredom? None of that. It didn't even cross my mind, quite honestly. That actually came from a friend of mine today. Look, you want to protest banks, you want to say some things, to me, whatever, that's fine. My kids have literally walked down the street, my older kids, and cried by the time they got 4 blocks here to this office. Leave my kids out of it. Leave people's families out of it. You want to protest the bank? Protest the bank. I don't care. You have a right to protest the bank. Go to the bank. The last time this really happened in America and it was effective, and don't think I don't don't know it, basically Sam Adams and the Sons of Liberty. Our founders, boy, they surrounded the homes of the governor. The governor, of course, it was the governor's house and it was state property, but they did surround the house of the governor. They didn't go to the tea party, you know, the tea merchant. They didn't do that. They didn't try to intimidate him and the family. But let's just understand one important parallel here, and that's this. Those people that did that, Sam Adams, who were they? They were revolutionaries. They were revolutionaries. These people want to try to paint themselves as civil rights movement. You know, they're just a civil rights guy. No, we're not revolutionaries. What? No, we're civil rights marchers. Who were the civil rights marchers? They were people with profound belief in God. They were trying to set things right. They weren't crying for social justice. They were crying out for equal justice. But these people, these mobs, they're trying to recreate the civil rights thing all over again. Healthcare, banking reform, housing, the presidency, everything. Watch this.
When this body was on the verge of guaranteeing equal civil rights to everyone, regardless of the color of their skin, some senators resorted to the same filibuster threats that we hear today.
I believe health care is a civil right. The parallels between the struggle for civil rights and the fight to make quality, affordable health care accessible to all Americans are significant.
This is a Civil Rights Act for the 21st century.
This is a Civil Rights Act.
Now, that was health care, but they're doing it now. It's all civil rights down in Arizona. All of it. Why? Why? Not because it is, not because they believe it, but because it worked. It worked. But the reason why it worked is it did start at the grassroots level. It was real. These people believed in it. They weren't just trying to grab power, they believed in it. It was true. This is not. These are half-truths or out-and-out lies. But watch. I want you to watch the way they're imaging everything that is happening now as a civil rights movement. I want to show you two pictures. Come on over with me. Show you two pictures. And I don't know if, I haven't heard anybody else say this. Put the Nancy Pelosi picture up here. Okay, remember this? Okay, this is when they walk through the Tea Party crowd. Remember? And they're linked arm in arm. John Lewis. Powerful civil rights marcher. Okay? But look at them. Arrogant. Laughing. Oh, we're having a great time. Mocking the Tea Party people. That's what it was. Now, let me show you what they were recreating. Look at that scene. They were recreating this. Can you put them side by side, please? That's what they're trying to recreate. The power of an image. But let me turn the tables. Look at this face. Now look at this man. Look at him. Totally different. This woman is mocking. They're laughing it up. Look at this man. Look at this man. Look at this man. Look at this man. This one. This one. They're frightened. Look at his face. You don't think he knew he was going to die? You don't think he knew what was at stake? These people had courage. This is a civil rights mockery. It is a mockery of these people. This is why it succeeded. Look in his eyes. This is why this will fail. This doesn't see the fear, doesn't see the eyes. Let me ask you, you think that 14-year-old boy hiding in the closet, hiding in the bathroom, you don't think the 12-year-old sitting in the car looked like one of these guys? Of course they did. They were frightened. These don't care. They'll use anything. These believed in it. They don't think of little boys in baseball games because they don't care. That's all that these people saw. By the way, the neighbor who was brave enough to tell all of the details, Nina Easton. She's from Fortune magazine. The one reporter Nina tells us she's now under attack from SEIU. Guess where else she's being attacked? Oh, the Huffington Post.